Welcome to Living Well. We're actually on our ninth week of doing this study of counsels on diets and food. And today our topic is regularity in eating. I want to say welcome and thank you for joining us. Our presenter today will be Emma and Mark. And then we also have Dr. Sylvester Carrington, who is our guest. And then I'll be your moderator. And so I just want to remind you that these topics are for educational purposes only. The information that we're sharing is from research, is from personal experiences, and it is from biblical scriptures. The information is not intended to replace your doctor's advice. If you have a specific condition in which you're concerned about, you are encouraged to seek advice from your personal physician. Again, this educational session is presented to increase the awareness on the topic that is presented. I hope you will take notes, and we also hope and pray that you will make lifestyle changes that would improve your health mentally, physically, and spiritually. I want to say welcome again, and we want to just welcome our presenter today, Emma Mark and Dr. Carrington. Welcome.
Thank you, Jennifer, for that introduction. And it is
When
wonderful
this goes off, you want to hear this?
to be back as we continue the journey of living well. These weekly presentations are to enrich us with the proper tools as we strive to maintain a healthy body, soul, and mind. It is also a blessing to have as our guide the wise counsels from the book Counsels on Diet and Food. This topic, the topic this week is just as impactful as the previous weeks. As mentioned before, our topic is regularity in eating. Great emphasis is placed on the importance of allowing the stomach to rest. To accomplish this, to accomplish a healthy functioning stomach, we need to eat regularly and 2 meals per day. This is highly encouraged. A substantial breakfast is important. At breakfast time, the stomach is in a better condition to take care of more food than at the second or third meal of the day. The habit of eating sparing breakfast and a large dinner is wrong. Make your breakfast correspond more nearly to a heartier meal of the day. Eating a well-balanced breakfast helps to sustain you till the next meal. Having regular 3 times to eat allows the stomach the rest requires between meals. Having a regular time to eat, I should say, allows the stomach the rest that the stomach requires between meals. It is recommended to allow 5 to 6 hours before partaking of the next meal. This practice reduces the burden of the stomach from overworking and reduces unnecessary craving. In many cases, the faintness that leads to a desire for food is felt because the digestive organs have been too severely taxed during the day. After disposing of one meal, the digestive organs need rest. At least 5 or 6 hours should intervene between the meals. And most persons who give the plan a try will find that 2 meals a day are better than 3. The practice of snacking between meals is also discouraged because the stomach does not have sufficient time to recover from one meal to the next. Even though the snack is considered as a healthy snack, like nuts or a fruit, the constant eating overtaxes the stomach and produce dyspepsia. Regular eating is of vital importance. There should be a specific time for each meal. At this time, let everyone eat what the system requires and then take nothing more until the next meal. Another practice that affects the function of the stomach is eating late suppers. While the individual is sleeping, the stomach should be at rest also. If the stomach must work during digesting food during sleep hours, this can be a cause for restlessness, a restless night's sleep and awful dreams, thus leaving the individual tired and cranky during the day. The stomach, when we lie down to rest, should have its work all done, that it may enjoy rest, as well as other portions of the body. The work of digestion should not be carried on through any period of sleeping hours. Violating these natural laws of health by irregular eating and eating in between meals weaken the digestive system, thus bring on a false sense of hunger, which drives the individuals to add more food on the overstressed stomach. This vicious cycle causes the individual to eat all hours of the day and night. Hence, a gloomy disposition overcomes the individual. All is not lost if the individual is willing to recognize the detrimental effects overeating poses on the body and is willing to bring the appetite under self-control. The remedy such require is to eat less frequently and less liberally and be satisfied with plain, simple food eaten twice a day, or at most 3 times a day. The stomach must have its regular periods for labor and rest. Hence, eating irregularly and between meals is a most pernicious violation of the laws of health. With regular habits and proper food, the stomach will gradually recover. So all is not lost. So do not be discouraged if right now you are not eating 2 meals a day, or right now you're snacking in between meals. We can change. Today, I want to introduce to you someone whose eating habits were leading him down the dangerous path to sickness and disease, and how he was able to change his course to a healthy lifestyle. Today we have Dr. Carrington. Thank you, Dr. Carrington, for coming to share your experience with us. We are glad to have you. So, Dr. Carrington, can you tell us the story that led you to change your diet?
Well, thanks for having me. Good afternoon, everyone. Well, I thought I was in good health about maybe 10 years or so ago, I was tired and going to the bathroom ever so often. I remember I was on a trip to Toronto and I had to stop ever so often to go to the bathroom. And got to the wedding in Toronto. I had to leave the reception a couple of times to go to the bathroom. On the way back home to Chattanooga, the same thing happened. And I got back to work. I was a school principal then, got back to work, and I was so tired one day I went into the bathroom and just to sit on the commode and get some rest. And I fell asleep right there, almost, So I got up and said, look, I have to go to the doctor. And I was scared because I thought it was my prostate, my prostate gland was giving problems. And the first thing he said, let me take your sugar level. And it was 300. That scared me. I was always healthy, I thought, exercise, but I was eating the wrong foods. So I was diagnosed as type 2 diabetes. And that not only scared me, but it also got me thinking that I could not live like this on medication for the rest of my life.
Okay, thank you. So I heard you said you thought you were eating healthy, but then it dawned on you that maybe you were not. You were eating the wrong foods. Can you tell me what were some of these foods you were eating?
White bread, white rice, white everything, lots of canned foods, processed foods, meat, fish, eggs, even the good foods like fruits. I remember making fruit smoothies 2 and 3 times a day. And my sister, who was a nurse, was visiting from New York. She said, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. Even though it is sugar, it is fruit, it is still sugar. So that was my diet. I mean, white flour, white rice. Who doesn't love white rice? It tastes better than the brown rice. White everything and process everything. So that was my main staple.
Yeah, thank you. That so many of us think that we are doing the right thing by eating fish and meat because we think it's healthy. And eggs, even milk, we are taking in these things daily and think that we are eating healthy, but it's not. It's destroying our body. You mentioned the fact that you were eating fruits. Everything needs to be done in moderation. And the fact that you were eating so much or juicing so much fruit, it was causing a problem with your blood sugar, because the amount of fruits that you take to make 1 glass of juice, normally you will not really eat that amount of fruits in one sitting.
No.
So it's a concentrated form of sugar without the fiber. The fruits, when we eat fruits, we have the fiber that helps to decrease the sugar getting into the blood system. It slows down that process. So our body's not overwhelmed with sugar at once and causes the spike in our blood sugar, which produces lots of insulin. And then when all this insulin is in the system and takes that sugar into the cells, and there's still, insulin floating around, that causes a drop in the blood sugar. And we have this yo-yo effect going on all the time. We feel tired and sleepy, and we think we are hungry, we eat again, and it just keeps on that vicious circle.
Exactly.
So we need to do everything in moderation. That is so true. So you were doing all of this, you think you were healthy, you went to the doctor, he told you your blood sugar is 300. I know that was a big shock for you. So what did you do? What was your next step? What were the changes you made in your diet? So to help with your blood sugar, what were the changes you made?
Well, my wife really was my wife became an expert in diabetes. Yeah, she read everything she read, you know. And I remember going to the diabetes class, and the nurse said, I asked her the question about metformin, and she says, "Well, you might be on this for the rest of your life." And my wife said, "No, you won't. You're not doing that." You know. So we began to research and read and listen to, of course, the Councils on Diets and Foods. And we came across whole foods, you know. So my breakfast, like you were talking about, my breakfast habits changed automatically, you know. I now eat, I have a list about, on my kitchen countertop, I have various canisters labeled with quinoa and barley, oats, garbanzo beans, cornmeal, millet, and I have a different one every morning. I have a different one. And what you said about, even though they are good foods, moderation is still the key, you know. So I have about fist, my size of my fist. On top of that, I put some strawberries and blueberries, avocado, and I make a green smoothie, kale, cabbage, spinach. I put some pumpkin seeds in there. I put almonds. I put a little bit of avocado to make it, give it some body. And I use water. I don't use milk. I use water too. And I blend that. I started putting some spirulina yesterday. I got that yesterday. You know. So that's my breakfast. A tall glass of. I don't think you can't go wrong on greens at all. And vegetables. You can't go wrong. They can overeat on that. I mean, yeah. But still, I have that cereal and that barley that smoothie about 8:30, and then I go exercise. I walk for 20. If the weather is good, 20, 30 minutes, an hour. If it's not good, I go to the gym. I do some weightlifting and that kind of stuff, you know. And you know what? That keeps me until about 2:30. 2:30. And in between there, I drink water. I don't snack. I drink water. Because when you eat snacks, like you said, you gotta start the digestive process all over again, you know, all over again. There's no rest. So I do that, drink that water.
I can get a house.
Yep. Pardon? I drink that water regularly till 2:30. I have my meal. And what I have, if I have anything left over from the morning, say like if I have some barley left or some anyway, or I might have a whole wheat sandwich, with veggie cheese, and a salad. And that's it for me for the rest of the day. I mean, and I drink more water again. Now that I'm retired, I can go for another walk after that meal. Mm-hmm. So, you know, and if I have a little smoothie left, I might have it, but I don't have a regular meal after 2:30, 3 o'clock, you know. But the water drinking, I tell you what, that does for me more than I ever thought it would. You know, I'm regular. I think my skin is looking different now. That kind of stuff. I'm looking younger too. I'm 72, but I look young.
Yes, you do. You look. you do not look your age. That is so true.
I better get my my shot one day, and the nurse said to me, says, "What are you doing in this line? We are serving people over 70." I said, I said, well, I'm 70. And she looked at me and she says, really? I thought you were 50. So she let me get my she let me get my shot. So I think I'm not boasting, but the eating has a big part to do with it, you know. So that's how I eat. I try to do that every day. Sabbath is a bit hard. My wife cooks a lot of food on Sabbath, and but for the most part, it's what I just outlined to you how I eat.
Yeah. You know, that's wonderful. I know many of us might be thinking it's impossible to eat 2 meals a day, but you just told us that you eat 2 meals a day, about 8 o'clock for breakfast, and then about 6 hours or so later, you eat your dinner, and that's about it. And that will last you all day, all night long. So this habit of eating 3 meals a day is not something that we have to do.
Mm.
Back in the Roman days, from what I was reading, it, it they ate sometimes just 1 meal a day because they believed, the Romans really believed in trying to allow the stomach to rest. They did not believe in overeating. So
Right.
they ate 1 meal a day. And they were soldiers. These were soldiers, people who were wearing armors. Back in those days, those armors were heavier than what our soldiers wear today. And they had to do lots of walking. And imagine they eat 1 meal a day. It was, different periods. People ate like in the Middle Ages. I guess they ate maybe 2 meals a day because they would get up early in the morning and they ate, and then later on in the evening, they ate another meal, but they did not eat too late also at night because they didn't have electricity like we have today. So they will eat maybe around 5 o'clock, and that was it for the day. So the 2 meals a day have been around for a long time. Today, scientists scientists are showing that eating 2 meals a day is better than eating 3 meals a day. It was in the 1800, not 1800, it was in the European era when this 3 meals a day came about. It was more for like socializing. That middle meal, it was more like for a socializing period. So they would get together and socialize, and housewives were home. So they would, compete basically with each other to see who would outdo the other, and cooking and preparing large supper and having this big spread for supper. So that is where that came in. So this tradition came down through the ages. And when the Europeans came to this country, they introduced this 3 meal a day principle, and we are following it today. And the problem with us today, we are even eating more than 3 meals a day because food is in abundance. We keep on snacking. You can go to the gas station to get gas, and right there you have chips and nuts and all sorts of things, pastries, things that is you can just easily pick up and go and eat while in your car. So the way we live today, it makes it easier for us to eat constantly and in between meals, which is not good for our stomach. I know the other day when we had Dr. St. Clair, she said that in the past, they did not do that many surgeries, gallbladder surgeries. Today, gallbladder surgery is one of the top surgery that they perform in the hospital. Gallbladder surgery, because people are eating and eating and eating the wrong foods, and all the fat they're eating, wearing out the gallbladder, because the gallbladder produces the bile that helps to digest fat. So this constant eating, people are wearing out these different organs and causing all these different problems that they're having. So I am glad to hear that you are doing 2 meals a day and you are feeling well and looking good. I I commend you for that. And I
I
heard you
have,
also talk about walking. Yeah, go
yeah.
ahead.
Yeah, I walked this morning early. You
Yes,
know, it was cold, but I walked, and I'm gonna walk again because the weather's nice
yeah.
out here where we are. Let me tell you about water. Water. If I get hungry, I drink water. You know, it gives you a sense of being full. You know, or when it gets 7, 8 o'clock and I'm hungry, I go to bed. I'm, I'm not going to eat that late. You know,
Yeah.
and let me say, I haven't taken the metformin now for years. I can't tell the last time I took it. I don't need it. I just don't need it. A1C is about 5 something or 4 something. You see. So, and the regular eating and the good eating and the exercise, you know, I think is responsible.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yes, I was going to have you talk a little about water. Since you're a scientist, you
Mm,
know all about water, you know about water molecules, you know the structure of water, you know
right. Hmm.
all the different things that water can do.
Hmm.
How does that water affect us as humans? How does water help us to stay healthy?
You know about AIDS indigestion, the enzymes work a lot better with water, or and of course, water is a transport system. That's what move things along in the human body. Moves things along the human body. Also, water is for me is what do they call it now? Um, I don't need to take. It keeps me regular. I don't want to be graphic, but yes, it
Right.
does. It does keep me regular. And I think it like I said before, it improves your skin tone and that kind of thing. You know,
Mhm.
so it's one of the best drinks that you can have. You know, it's a good glass of water. I drink it at room temperature. I don't drink it cold, and I try to have one the first time you get up in the morning. Have a glass of water, a bottle of water, and then I have my breakfast. And I put the water when I drink the smoothie. I fill up the glass with water. So when I come back from the gym, I have water to drink with the rest of the smoothie.
Mhm. Wonderful, wonderful. So you are a living example of what the book Counsels on Diet and Food is talking about. That, you know, we eating 2 meals a day, not snacking in between meals, um, exercising after each meal, you know, go for a walk because
Mm-hmm.
that's all aids with digesting the food.
Right,
We don't want to do strenuous exercise, but a walk is, you know,
right. Walk is good.
good. So that's you're doing all of that. And because you're following God's principles, you right now do not even need metformin. Your hemoglobin A1C is better
Mm-hmm.
than some of us who were never diagnosed with
Yeah.
diabetes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, hemoglobin A1C of 5.6 is a normal. Anything over that, they consider you a diabetic or pre-diabetic.
A little bit. Mm-hmm.
And you were telling me your hemoglobin A1C sometimes is down to 4 point something.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So that is excellent. So therefore, it's not that you were a diabetic per se, it's because your food, the foods that you were eating,
Mm-hmm.
cause you to become a diabetic.
Yeah.
But changing the way you were eating, you were able to reverse diabetes. So it's not impossible. A lot of us who have these comorbid conditions, diabetes, hypertension, um, you know, asthma and all of this can reverse these diseases if we follow the principles that God outlined in his word, that God inspired, I should say, Ellen G. White to write about. If we follow these principles, we will live so much better, so much healthier. Um, Anything else you want to share, Dr. Carrington, before we end here?
People talk about carbs. Carbohydrates are bad. But it's the kind of carbs you eat. kind of carbs you eat. And I get my good carbs. You get good carbs from garbanzo beans and cornmeal and millet and those kinds of stuff up carbs, good carbs. So you know, you don't need and protein. You get you don't need meat for protein. You know, you get plant protein is in almost everything we have: almonds and sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, and spirulina, and those things. So simple diets will give you all the nutrients you need. That's what I try to do. Simple, not too much variety, not all the casseroles and the that kind of stuff. You know, very simple plant-based diets.
That's so true. Simple, simplicity.
Mm-hmm.
We do not want all these excess calories from cheese and milk and all of that, fats. We do not need those things to make our meals pleasant to the taste.
You know, cheese and oh boy, cheese and fish. Oh boy, those are my weakness.
Those were the hardest to give up.
Yeah, but you know, I see them and leave them. I don't, you know, don't bother me anymore.
Right. So after you have been following this lifestyle for a while, you said for the past 10 years now you have been doing this. It's to a point now, these foods that were once tempting to you are no longer tempting. So that's good to know. So we can change our taste bud,
your taste buds change after a while. And
yes,
you're right. Exactly.
Yes, change your taste bud. That is so wonderful. Highway to a healthier living. Thank you, Dr. Carrington, for sharing your experience with us. It has helped us to realize that if you can do it, we can do it also. I just want to share with our listeners some tips for following a healthy diet. Here are some tips. Drink lots of water. As Dr. Carrington said, whenever he feels hungry in between meals, he drink water. And that will make you feel just as full, because the urge to eat is not because you're hungry. Maybe it's because you're overtaxing your stomach too much. So drink lots of water. When you feel, when you feel, when you eat, when you have to eat, you need to eat and relax and dine. Take your time and eat. Show gratitude. When you're showing gratitude, when you're thankful, you know, you are in a relaxed state of mind, and it helps with your digestion of the food. Start with 3 meals a day. If you cannot do 2, start with 3 meals a day and gradually cut back to 2 meals a day. I am not telling everybody that they have to do 2 meals a day. Some of us have hypoglycemia, and our doctors may be telling us we need to eat more frequently. You will have to discuss that with your doctor about, if you want to change. I read somewhere what it was saying that after a while, those people who eat 6 meals a day because they were told to eat these small frequent meals, after a while it does not work. So be aware of that. We need to eat a healthy, hearty breakfast. The first meal of the day, breakfast, because all night long you're fasting, and now in the morning, that's the first meal you're going to have. It needs to be healthy. Eating a healthy breakfast will help maintain your blood sugar, will help you to sustain you until lunchtime, or whenever you decide to eat again, 6 hours later. It helps to sustain you. You do not feel hungry. If you eat the right foods, eating simple foods, simple carbohydrates, like some of these pop toast and cereals, Cheerios and cornflakes and those type of cereals, They're full of sugar. They're simple, they're processed food. They're not healthy. Eating a healthier breakfast, like oatmeal and fruits, it will help you sustain nuts with your breakfast for the protein. It will help you to sustain longer and you will not feel like eating and crashing and burning. And avoid late night meals or snacks in between, because your stomach needs to rest while you're sleeping. If your stomach doesn't rest, the next morning you wake up with a hangover. You feel tired and cranky, and you will not have a good day. Do not eat processed foods. Eat whole foods rather than processed food. Whole foods have all the nutrients in them that we need to sustain health. There's no added anything to it. It's in its whole form with all the nutrients and fiber that when we eat it, it helps us to stay healthier and prevent diseases. In closing, never cheat the stomach out of that which health demands, and never abuse it by placing upon it a load which it should not bear. Cultivate self-control, restrain appetite, keep it under the control of reason. In our strength, we cannot do it, but with God, all things are possible.
Amen.
I want you to remember our challenges that we have been talking about since we started this program. We first talked about water, and today we heard how Dr. Carrington uses water to help control his diet, control him from overeating and eating in between meals. So let us continue with the challenge of drinking our water, 6 to 8 glasses of water per day, and even more, especially if you're outside in the hot sun, exercising, doing strenuous at work like that. We need to drink more water. So let us remember drinking our water. The other challenge we had was to try and take away foods, gradually take away those foods that you're eating that you know is not healthy. Take those foods away so that you can introduce healthier foods as you go along. Eventually, you will be surprised. You will not even miss those things. So let's continue with that challenge. And our other challenge was to try and take away, especially high fructose corn syrup foods that contain high fructose corn syrup. It is not good for our body. It affects so many different systems in our bodies, that we need to really stay away from high fructose corn syrup. It is deadly. It affects the liver, cause fatty liver, cause diabetes, cause heart disease, and a whole other host of problems. Try and stay away from high fructose corn syrup. Your soda drinks, your fast food, anything that's in a can or in packages, those things contain high fructose corn syrup. So read your labels, read your labels. And as we go along, we will try to cut back on how much we are eating. And if we can go to 2 meals a day, oh boy, we will be feeling so much better. We will look like Dr. Carrington. He is 72, but he looks like he's in his 50s. And I'm telling you, he's strong. He walks upright. He does not, he's in perfect health. I saw him the other day, and I can tell you, he does not look his age. So, Dr. Carrington, thanks again. And thank you all for listening. If anyone want to give a praise report, or they have a what do you call it, a testimony that they want to share with us, you can do so now. You can unmute yourself and let us know if you have testimony to share with us.
So Emily, we have about 5 minutes left and we would love to hear their testimonies. Maybe we can take one testimony. I don't raise hands or any thing in the chat other than we want to make sure we give everyone an opportunity, or the one person who wants to give their testimony. Okay. I don't hear anyone.
What I said was my testimony, so.
Okay.
I
Thank you.
know.
Thank you. So we're going to move on because no one else has spoken up. But Emily, thank you so much for that wonderful overview. Dr. Carrington, thank you for sharing your testimony. We are so thankful that God led you to a place where your mind was open and receptive to what you were learning about how to better care for your body. I think that's our biggest challenge for all of us, is when we hear God's voice tell us what we should eat, what we should drink, what we should do. It is our obligation to God, our creator, to respond to that. And so I do know that it is challenging. I'm actually eating 2 meals a day. I've been eating 2 meals a day for several years. My father ate 2 meals a day, and I eat 2 meals a day, and I'm completely satisfied. I don't need to eat more. So so I think it's doable. So thank you for giving us that challenge, Emlyn, to regulate our meals, space them out at least 5 hours apart to give the body time to rest. And so I believe if we adopt some of these practices, we will feel better, we will look better, we will function better. It can even actually help our relationship with God. Next week, our topic is going to be on fasting. And so that's a topic that when I was younger, we heard a lot about fasting, but you hear very little about fasting nowadays. But we're going to share with you next week about fasting and how important that is. We're going to, I see a prayer request. Thank you, Alicia. We'll go ahead and we'll put you on the prayer list. We would actually love to have your contact information. We have a dietitian nutritionist who would love to support you in your journey, Alicia. If you want to provide us with that information, email address or phone number, we'll be happy to walk side by side with you on the journey to health and wellness as a complement to what we're trying to do here. So any other prayer requests? I think we'll continue to pray for one another because we do know that this is every day we get tempted. It is honestly every single day we're tempted with our appetite. All right, so we're going to pray. Dear Heavenly Father, in the name of Jesus, we've heard some wonderful news today about the importance of regulating our diet and really the importance of how it affects our body and our mind and our spirit when we eat in such a way that glorifies you. And we know that this topic is all about how do we glorify God by what we eat, drink, and do. And so, Lord, we know that the time that we've spent together, we've learned a lot. And there's things that we can continue to add to our lifestyle so that we can better serve you. So I pray for everyone that's on this call, because all of us have at least one struggle that we still need to work on, whether it's drinking more water, walking, exercising, getting to bed, getting the rest we need. So God, we're on this journey together, walking side by side, supporting one another. We continue to pray for our dear friend Alicia, who's asked for prayer. Dear God, you know her needs, and help her to know that we are here to walk side by side with her, because we're all in this together. We know you're coming soon, and it is exciting to know that, but we want to be ready. So help us to make every decision we make, help us to move us closer and closer and closer to you. This is my prayer in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you all for joining Living Well. It has been our pleasure to share with you about the importance of regularity in eating. Please join us next week. We'll be talking about fasting. Until then, have a wonderful, wonderful week.
You too.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.